Kendrick Perkins back at it again with another fantastic take. This was him on NBA Today. Kendrick Perkins says a case can be made for Domantas Sabonis being an NBA MVP. Let's go ahead and play it, man. Let's go ahead and play it. Let's go ahead and hear him out. Hopefully this is not fully out of context, you know. Hopefully this is all the context that we need. But let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
Look, we can make a compelling argument for all guys when it comes down to Jokic, when it comes down to SGA, it could come down to Donovan Mitchell, Luka. Like, all these guys are going to put up historical numbers in today's game. Yeah. Hell, if we want to make a case, why are we not?
Nah, not too. I can't even say not too much, bruh. Donovan Mitchell. Hey, look. I already know where this is going anyway, so let me just get it out, Perk, bruh. Pause.
Historical numbers in today's game.
Yeah.
Hell, if we want to make a case, why are we not saying anything about Sabonis? Sabonis right now, hold on, listen, hold on. If we're going based on
now watch
numbers,
everyone's face.
Sabonis.
Now watch everyone's face. Hey, watch everyone's face.
Leading the NBA in triple doubles. Hold on. He's also leading the league.
Look at Malika. Look at Malika.
Double doubles. The man is averaging 20, 13, and 8.
Briefly,
that is not just...
better case for Luka Doncic than for Sabonis. I mean, leading the league without Embiid and scoring, and then also giving you almost 9 and 10. That's a triple double, and that's the reason why Jokic is the favorite.
I thought the triple doubles meant something. Look,
stay on topic, Perk. So, Domantas Sabonis is in the conversation for the MVP award, ladies and gentlemen. That is a topic of today. Now, before it really gets negative real quick, I just want to make it clear. Domantas Sabonis is having a fantastic year, okay? No one is trying to take it away from Domantas Sabonis. He has transformed the Sacramento Kings into a playoff team ever since he's came there. He has changed the culture of Sacramento basketball, him alongside De'Aaron Fox and Mike Brown. He's averaging 20 points a season. He's leading the league in rebounds. He's giving you 8 assists. You know, he's averaging 62% from the field, 61.6. He's shooting 42% from the line. He's getting to the line 5 times at 69%, 70%. So, before we move forward, no one is saying Domantas Sabonis is having a bad season. He's having a phenomenal season. I would even make the case that he's having an All-NBA caliber season. Okay? And in terms of wins, let's just bring up the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings are a 33-25 team, well over 500. They are the 8th seed in the Western Conference. But the reason why I want to bring this up is this has been a theme with Kendrick Perkins, but specifically with NBA discourse this year, whether it's this, whether it's Jalen Brunson, which is another topic that Kendrick Perkins brought up, whether it's Steph Curry being in the GOAT discussion, whether it's Kobe Bryant being in the GOAT discussion, we need to figure out what being in the discussion really means. We need to figure that out, because I swear to God, I am confused myself. And I think I've come to the conclusion, and it's not really a conclusion, because I'm still confused myself, that you either think two things. You having a small ass, minuscule ass, weak ass argument, as long as it's there, you're in the discussion, or you have a really high bar as to what being in the discussion is. So let me just, because I literally asked my timeline, I again asked, what does being in the conversation mean? So let's go ahead and read these replies. So I don't know about you, but in 30 years, I'm going to look back and remember the conversations Domantas Sabonis was in. He was in those What? What does that mean? Basically means, how can I have a hot take that will get views and debates instead of being objective and realistic? It's like having an all-star caliber year but not being an all-star. Sabonis is good. This isn't as crazy as people make it seem. Okay? These terms are becoming more vague by the day. One day, being in the MVP convo means a player is at least top 3, 4 in the race. And then next, it's about guys who are putting up numbers. Like, what are we doing? For me, it's being in the top 5, but Sabonis definitely not in the top 5. He's just chatting, or maybe he's bouncing. He's blurring the line between the two, honestly. I don't know if he's talking about chatting and bouncing or the conversation, but or both. I don't know. Just means they should put more respect they've been getting. What's the point of being in the conversation when the odds of you winning are less than 1%? So I do think Kobe brings up a good point here. I think Kendrick Perkins, his goal with him saying this is essentially put more respect on Sabonis' name. I think that shouldn't be lost in the conversation, because I do think that's a good point. You know, put some more respect on Sabonis' name. We don't talk about Sabonis enough. And he's having a phenomenal season, right? But same thing with the Hassan Abi topic on the pod. I know, crazy parallel. Sometimes, and even with the Jalen Brunson conversation, I think the best thing you can do to acknowledge someone's greatness and to put respect on their name is just putting respect on their name without comparing them to someone else. Because as soon as you introduce the comparison, then it becomes a game of, not too much. He's not as good at this. He's not as good as that. He's not as dominant as this. He's not as dominant as that. He's not as impactful as this. He's not as impactful as that. That's when you introduce motherfuckers looking at Domantas Sabonis in a more critical lens, because of the fact that you compared him and put him in a conversation that this is going to lead into my take about the whole conversation. Like, he shouldn't have been there. So now he's getting slandered because you're trying to put him in that conversation. Bro, what the fuck? He doesn't belong here type shit. And this is why, right? I think the best thing Kendrick Perkins could have done is just, let's put some more respect on Sabonis. He didn't have to go as far as to say, yeah, you should be in the MVP conversation. He could have just left it at, let's put more respect on Domantas Sabonis. Now, you can make the argument that the only way people will actually notice the clip is for him to make that comparison. So I see where you're coming from there, but don't be surprised when people act the way that they do. So for me, the whole thing about being in the conversation to me is, I think we gotta be real. We gotta be real. And we have to have a higher bar as to what being in the conversation is. Right? If there's 10 of us in the room, let's say 50 of us in the room, 47%, 47 out of 50 people can agree that Luka's having a better season than Sabonis. 46 can agree that SGA is having a better season than Sabonis. 44 agree that Jokic is having a better season than Sabonis. At that point, how the fuck is Sabonis in the conversation? Just because of the 4 votes that he got? Just because of the 1 vote that he got? I think, to me, being in the conversation means I can make a case for you, given whatever the conversation is. I can make a case for you over everyone else because of X, Y, and Z. Because of X, Y, and Z. I think Luka's in that conversation. I think out of the remaining candidates, you can make the argument that Luka Doncic is having the best stats. The most dominant individual season. 34, 10, and 9. 1.5 steals on pretty close to 50-40, 80 splits. That's Luka. That's Luka's case. The most dominant individual season. Right? If we go to Nikola Jokic. Let's see. Nikola Jokic. I think Nikola Jokic is having, and this is why he's my MVP, he's having the best combination of winning and statistics. Right? This is a guy giving you those crazy numbers that everyone is looking for. You're looking at 26, 9, and 12. 0.7 assists away from averaging a triple-double. On insane efficiency like he usually does. Right? And as far as winning, I believe they're like a game back from the 1 seed in the Western Conference. But even if we stand to this day, that's the 4th best record in the league, and that's the 3rd best record in this conference. That's Nikola Jokic's case, right? SGA. I think SGA's case is putting up really MVP caliber numbers, insane numbers. We're looking at 31, 7, and 6. While being the most clutch player out of, well, I don't know, because Luka's in that. Luka's in this conversation right now. But being one of the more clutch players in the league, and being extremely impactful to the 3rd best team in the league. And I believe like a lot of the decent amount of the advanced numbers favor SGA. So that's, damn, he's really that close to a 50-40-90 season. Holy shit. And to be honest with you, the season he's having, let's be real, is more impressive than a lot of 50-40-90 seasons. Like I'm taking these stats, especially at this volume, at 55% from the field, than someone putting up 22 points on 51 or 50.5, 40.1, whatchamacallit, 90.1. But that's another case for another day. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be real with you. Now that I'm trying to say SGA's case, it's kind of weak. I don't know. Like just coming up with that superlative take is kind of weak. But I would say SGA's case right now is just statistically speaking, he's not that far off from the people that we're naming so far. And he's winning at roughly the same rate, right? And then I would say another person in this discussion, because of the stats, you know, if this person in this is in this conversation, why shouldn't this other person be? Because he's putting up relatively similar stats, would be Giannis, right? 30.1, 11, 6, 62% from the field, while being the 3rd seed in his conference, right? So yeah, I think that's SGA and Giannis's argument is like the numbers are too undeniable. You know what I'm saying? For them not to be in the conversation alongside two-way presence with SGA and Giannis. So that's the thing as well. Elite offensive production while giving you two-way value on some of the best records in the league. So that would be probably their case. And then I would say just a sneaky one in there, and I think this is where we really start stretching it in my opinion, is Jason Tatum. Best player on the best team. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about the best combination of stats and winning, out of the 5 names that I just mentioned, he may have the worst stats, but in terms of winning, he also has the most winning. With Sabonis, you would have to value him having the most triple-doubles so much for him to actually be in the conversation. And I think 98% of NBA fans, when it comes to comparing these players, do not care about the fact that Sabonis is leading the league in triple-doubles, because there are candidates like Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic who are damn near averaging a triple-double with crazier volume and leading to more team success. I think that is why those guys are more in the conversation than Sabonis, right? Yeah, I think it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I understand, and I hate this thing that NBA analysts do where they're like, how can he not be in the conversation? He's putting up, and they just read off his stat line. When in reality, the MVP award is a comparative award. The MVP award is a relative award. It is a comparison award. It is comparing your season to your peers. It cannot just be looking at your numbers in a vacuum. Because, yes, you can be putting up this crazy stat line, but if we look around the league and someone else is doing something more impressive, we have to take that into consideration when making the ballot. It cannot just be, oh, man, that motherfucker's having a crazy season. He gets my vote. It cannot be that simple. Because if that's the case, then you take away from someone else's season who might have deserved the MVP award or the MVP vote. So, I don't know. As much as I love NBA discussions being more nuanced than it ever has been, I think it is confusing a lot of people. More specifically, the conservative crowd within the NBA community, who growing up thought the game was supposed to be a certain way. Growing up thought, an MVP was supposed to mean this one thing. But now that definitions are changing, honestly, for the better, because in my opinion, this is how it was supposed to be from the beginning. Now there's a lot of pushback as to how things are operated. When, if you look back, there was a lot of pushback as to how things were operated when you were in the league. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Perk, I get what you're saying. Again, at the end of the day, yes, let us put more respect on Domantas Sabonis. I do think he deserves that. But as far as the MVP discussion, you're dragging it. You're dragging it again. But with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Follow me on Twitch. I'll be streaming on Twitch, man. 3, 4, 5 times a week. No set schedule on there, but I'll be streaming a lot on there, man. You play 2K, talk more about the NBA, watch highlights on there that obviously I can't post on this channel. So if you haven't been tuning into the Twitch, I think you're missing out. But with that being said, I'm out, man. Peace.